Here we go.
Hello, hello, hello. See you people popping in here. All right, Andreas and Emily, Kathy, Robert's back. Winfield's, of course, right there to my right. And Phoenix Rose is here. Jim, Kathy, and some people on the phone. Good to have you all popping in. We're going to have a great day for training today. So we'll get started in just 2 or 3 minutes as soon as it's the top of the hour so everyone can get in there. In the meantime, if you have anything you want to chat about for a couple minutes, we could do that. Al is here. High five, Al.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm great, doing great. Just got back from church. We're good.
Oh, nice. Yeah, have 2 churches right outside my door here, one on each side. They're protecting, I guess, this whole place. I don't know. But usually there's church bells at 7 o'clock in the morning and they start this enormous bell. It's really big. Someone's down there like pulling the rope. And they ring it 30, 35 times at 7 a.m. But not this morning. I don't know why. It didn't ring. It did?
Oh, yeah.
I slept through it? You're kidding. The 7 and 7:30 both. I slept through it. That's weird. Wow. Oh. Wow, because it is really loud. It was like right there. It's like I'm inside the bell tower. All right. It's 1 minute till the hour. The weather is a pleasant 82 degrees in Kona, Hawaii. It's the same all the time. It just
Did
doesn't.
I tell you that I trained there a long time ago, Wendy, on that island?
A train?
I trained there a long time ago. I was in the Marine Corps, up on the mountain.
Oh, wow. Oh, very cool. Wow. So what did you do? Did
Wild
you
pigs I ever saw in my life.
say that again?
Biggest wild pigs I've ever seen in my life.
Oh.
They have big Russian boars up there.
They do. I drove over the whole top of the mountain to go pick up my car, which was shipped to Hilo, and there was dead boars on the road that had gotten hit by cars. Big old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So Phoenix is working with the Hypnosis Genius course. I like that one a lot. Andrea says sleep is a good thing. And Phoenix got a lot out of the New Hope gift. That was a really good one. All right. Well, this is very exciting. I'm glad to have you here. It is 1 minute after, so we're going to get started. Today, I am going to review with you what we've talked about in the day 1 and day 2 classes. There is a lot more to the program than I can fit into these 3 days, but I'm going to go through the entire book and I'm going to share my screen so that you can see all the sessions and the purpose for them. So if you're wanting to quit drinking or someone you know is going to be receiving this as a gift and you want to help them out, I'll tell you how to arrange that. And then if you're a therapist, hypnotherapist, or coach, practitioner, you can use this program with clients. And that does require a little more training, but we can do that. And then you are certified to use the materials from the Addiction Freedom Program and also testimonials and all of the brochures and all the stuff we have. So that training is $600 and it's video and interacting with me as well. But for now, I just want all of you to understand what this program is and how it really is revolutionizing how people look at addiction treatment. If you were to get involved with using this program, when I talk about addiction treatment, it is all the different forms of addiction treatment out there, except that we are not treating anybody because we're not doctors or psychiatrists or psychologists. We are mostly hypnotherapists and NLP practitioners. Shona's here, right on. Nice to see you. So make sure that you don't express this as addiction treatment. This is a program to give you freedom from your addiction and to change the beliefs and the identity and the self-talk and all the things that go along with changing a massively difficult problem. So just kind of keep that in mind, that I'm not doing treatment and I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm doing hypnotherapy to help someone change many things in their life. Now, let me see where my screen share is, and we will give this a shot. Oh, I think, is it already? Okay, here we go. I think this is it. Come on, baby. Hey, there it is. Oops, what? It won't scroll. There we go. I was making it wiggle somehow. All right, now if I can get these things slid over a bit, then I will be right here with you any second. Get that out of there. Okay, you can keep typing the questions in the chat as we go, but I am going to not read them while I'm doing this. Okay, so the Addiction Freedom Program was a result of me working with early on a meth addict that things went really well. And I thought, who am I to treat addiction? Oh my gosh. And of course, I'm not treating it, but basically this grew out of that. And I started seeing people with alcohol problems, opiate addictions, and all sorts. But alcohol seems to be one of the most difficult ones. So in the beginning of this book, it's telling them what it is. And again, if you were to become a practitioner, you would be able to use the resources and the history of the Addiction Freedom or Alcohol Freedom Program. Now, this part right here is about having freedom for life and being able to have a concept of what that means to have freedom for life. This helps get the client to have the belief that this will work for them, that it has worked. And it's my story about what happened with myself putting my son through rehab many, many times. There is a phrase I like. It's from The Matrix, and it's when you see that little stairway there, it says knowing the path. There's a difference between walking the path and knowing the path, or knowing the path the other way. There's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. And intellectually, we can understand all of these concepts and we can tell other people about them. But do we know the path? Do we live it? Or do we just talk about it? And so many things in our life are like that, that we just know the path, but we don't walk it. So right here, it says to create permanent change in your life, there's 7 elements you must have. And that's the core of what I created in this program. Desire, you have to want to change. But what if someone doesn't want to? What if they don't want to quit drinking? We create the desire for them. When they go into their future, and if you're wording it properly, they're going to have a massive desire to quit. Your core belief about who you are and what you believe about yourself, your identity, and your identity is how you talk about yourself and what you believe is true and who you are, and getting away from saying I'm George and I'm an alcoholic. Conflict resolution is stopping the self-sabotage and internal conflict. And we did that yesterday with the parts therapy, and you experienced it for yourself. Self-talk, your words and thoughts create changes in your cells. And we talked about cellular memory and how we want to change the information that's being handed down. Your self-talk energizes your brain to find more similar memories, emotions, issues. So if you're talking to yourself negatively, you're just encouraging that and making that expand. Repetition, of course, we have to do things in a new way over and over to burn some new pathways in our brain. Not burn, but excite them, ignite them. And releasing triggers. The subconscious can change the reaction to triggers, as we talked about yesterday. If you were to see a bottle of booze or drive by your favorite bar, or you're in the grocery store like that woman I talked about and you're in the alcohol aisle, will the triggers now make you feel really happy and powerful and in control and just so proud of yourself instead of what the previous triggers were doing? Okay, so in day 1, part 1 right here, this is about creating the desire. So the person writes down what they want for your body, your health, your daily habits and routines, your family and relationships, and your success and wealth. And you help them to get the details down. Of course, if you're doing this for yourself, you would be doing this on your own, unless you want to have the added coaching that I do, which is an additional fee, but then we talk every day on the phone for about 20 minutes or on Zoom. Okay, and then immediately you go into your future timeline and you start with a fork in the road. The fork in the road is the 2 paths, one of them, which is continuing to do what you are doing now. And then the fork to the right takes you into that future where you are free and feeling good. And then you do some writing about what you experienced. And then desire. So we go into the section of desire, and on the left side, it says what you don't want. People try to change things all the time based on what they don't want. And they're just trying to get away from the thing they don't want. Now, if you think about the things on the right where it says, I want to be strong, healthy, and powerful. And I know the phrase that we've been using is strong, healthy, and in control, but powerful works as well. And it says you just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and open them after about a minute. And what do you envision about being strong and healthy? And what does your inner voice say? And so your client or yourself is getting these instructions that take them in logical, small increments. And then more writing about what is going on, then the future timeline. So before you do the future timeline, you or your client needs to write down what they want in each of these sections: a healthy body, spiritual practice, wealth, success, emotional growth, and do that right here for 6 months. And then we do the 1 year future timeline in the future. And then afterwards, you write down what I love about my future. When you're writing things down, you are embedding them, making them more real. You're connecting that kinetic experience between your brain and the writing. And it's really cementing it. It's very important. You use a sleep session at night, blissful sleep. Who doesn't want blissful sleep? Apparently, I had some blissful sleep this morning, sleeping through the church bells. My goodness. And then wake up happy in the morning. Every morning you listen to a wake up happy session when you first wake up. Can you imagine how different your life might be if every morning, instead of waking up to dread and COVID and loneliness and all the things going on, that you wake up with a really nice outlook? Section 2 is your beliefs about yourself. Is addiction an incurable disease? Is relapse part of recovery? Are you an addict for life? And I explain these things to help you or your client change what is happening so that they don't have to operate out of those old beliefs, and you have some proof and some evidence that it should be changed. So changing your beliefs about addiction, more writing about who you are and what you really want, and some pretty words that are purple. Look at that. Okay. Now, continuing the timeline of your past. When you go on a timeline of your past or with your client, you go to just a few events that I suggest that you go to that have some power, memories about the addiction or alcohol or what might have created it, and things you just need to clean up, any, little issues of your past. And some of the things people discover are pretty amazing. And then you do a swish session, which we did yesterday. Go to sleep with the serenity session and wake up happy with gratitude. Number 3 is identity. And, part of the thing with this book is if you have a client and you're working with them, they get this book to hold in their hands. And it's nice because it has, colors and writing, and it becomes like the thing that is their heartbeat after a while, because they're building all these things about who they are in this book. So now your identity, we want to know what your future self feels, thinks, believes, what your future self says. And we talked about this yesterday, where you go inside your future self, inside the body. And that is such a rocking experience. If you have never done that with your future self, it's amazing. And then you go back out of the body and you're facing your future self from like 1 year in the future or however long you want to go, and ask your future self, say, what is the most important thing that I need to do to allow this to happen? Or any question like that is like, what should I stop doing? Should I stop doing stupid things? See if that helps. Okay, and then we're into identity, and this is more about stacking up what the things are that define who you are, and for you to own them. Then the addiction zapper. People say this is their favorite audio session of all, the addiction zapper. It takes you into a room where there's 2 doors, one on the right, one on the left. The one on the left is, again, kind of like the split timeline. It's got the things you don't really like and all the alcohol and all the times that you've failed. And then you go in the door on the right, and it's all you, shiny, happy, and glorious. But the process is how I get your brain to switch before you consciously think about it. If you were going to go into that door on the left and entertain those thoughts and feelings, before that happens consciously, I have your brain stop and switch to the door on the right. So it happens automatically. People like that one. More sleeping and waking up happy. Self-sabotage. This helps explain what parts therapy is, what a positive intention is. And even though it's a negative thing you're doing it because there's a positive intention behind it. And then more writing and so much more. More parts therapy, because we like to do that a second time. These are thoughts or things. It's telling you to change your self-talk and how you think about yourself. Do the self-talk session, of course, and integrity. And then repetition. So this is about, I'm sure you heard the phrase, if you fire it, you wire it. Well, this creates a repetition either for the thing you don't want, whatever's negative, or what you do want, and helping your client or yourself understand that. Finding your truth. This is great. Integrity and honesty. And people who are struggling with addiction generally are not really very honest with themselves or with others, because it creates a lot of conflict, to be honest, with people about your addiction. So here's something about consistency and things you're going to do every day to keep things consistent. A resolution session. This is changing the triggers and how important it is to change those triggers and be strong, healthy, and in control. So in this case, your subconscious changes the effect of the triggers. Instead of going into full-blown cravings for drugs or alcohol, you actually make your brain want something else. So you see a glass of booze and boom, your subconscious mind gets busy finding all the feelings of being strong, healthy, and in control. You are triggered to get a big glass of water and feel the big wave of love and pride. Release negative anchors, which is awesome as well. And there you go. And that's where we are now. Stop my screen sharing. Da, 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 da. So you can see that there is a lot to that. If you were to decide to work with a client for alcohol or addiction, the first thing to know is that anything that you do hypnotherapy-wise, Richard's here. That's my brother, Richard Friesen. Yeah, high five. Hey, hey. So I lost my train of thought. Woo, woo. All right, so if you were to work with a client for addiction, if you're a decent hypnotherapist, anything you do is going to be better than what they have done. You're going to do, based on all the things I'm teaching you, you're going to do the things that are positive, that helps them create that identity and allow them to let go of all the beliefs about being an addict, having a disease for life, and it's a disease that wants to kill you, and all the things that go along with being powerless, and going to those meetings and listening to the sad, sad stories for 90 days, 90 meetings in 90 days. Oy. So yeah, we want to get all of those elements done. But like I just said, if you didn't use this program, you're helping your client, it's going to be far better than what they were doing. However, now that you just saw that entire book and every part of it that's made to attack and change and release the old issues, that's why people can stop. And yesterday, someone asked me, do you have to want to quit? So what if your client says, I don't really want to quit. I kind of like drinking and stuff because it's fun. When you do the sessions with them, when you've done the split timeline to start with, and they're like, oh my God, that is where my life is going to continue to go. And then they've got on the path to the right, then you do the desire sessions and you build their desire to want that. And then they get into their future timeline. They will quit. They will. I'll tell you what, when I made this program many years ago, it was 20 years ago, while I was recording it, we wear headphones. And so all of the stuff I'm saying is going into my head. And I drank wine every day. After work, I'd come home and drink wine. And there's a cabinet that had many bottles of wine in it. I wasn't a problem drinker or anything. I just drank it every day. And after recording this program, about a week and a half later, I opened that cupboard and I said, what? Oh yeah, there's wine in there. Huh, isn't that weird? I totally forgot about it. It just was out of my awareness. I didn't have to try. It wasn't a choice I even made, but all the stuff I was recording was sending that information into my head and I forgot about it. I remember Ken, the fat slob drunk from our day one, he had a 6-pack of beer in his fridge, and a month later he said, I opened my fridge and there's a 6-pack there, and I hadn't even seen it. And then he poured himself a glass of beer and he didn't drink it. He didn't even take a sip. It was just like, I don't want it. So, and Ken is the one that, remember in his future timeline, at 1 year in the future, he saw himself as an athlete, remember? And he told me, he says, I'm not an athlete. I'm a fat slob drunk. That's all I am. That's all my friends know that I am. I'm nothing else. I wouldn't be an athlete. Since then, he has been an Ironman, competing in Ironman triathlons around the world, including qualifying for Kona multiple times, which is the top of the top. Because something clicked in that future moment. And for your clients or for yourself, there's something that's going to click in that future moment that's going to take you into a different mindset that you just can't get by sitting here wishing, hoping, or going to meetings. And if some of you haven't listened to day one, you really got to listen to it, because I talk a lot about the experience I had of going and visiting many rehabs when my son was going through rehab 5 times for $150,000 total. And the reason that people need to know this is when a parent or a loved one decides to send their husband or wife or child or whoever to rehab, you just think, okay, 28 days, I get my son back. He's going to be all fresh and healthy and all good. And then that one doesn't work. So you try it again and you try it again and again. Luckily, my son's gift to this world is that I got to see it 5 different times from the inside. And again, go back and listen to those stories so you understand how broken this system is. And it's full of fraud, medical billing fraud and brokers and anyway. Okay, so that is enough of that. Let me check the messages and see what's going on. Phoenix Rose says, what is usually the root of binge drinking? I can go 3 weeks, but then give myself permission to drink one night, and then I way overindulge. Well, when we did parts therapy yesterday, remember that we're looking for a positive intention to a negative behavior. So Phoenix, I suspect that you have something that's lurking in you that you can kind of keep it kind of calm for a while, and then something maybe lights it up, something triggers you into a memory that might have nothing to do with alcohol. It might be something that's just real unhappiness about something in your life, maybe a trauma from the past. There could be a few things that keep coming up and triggering you. So even if you did just the future self session, you could go and ask your future self, what is it that allowed you to end the binge drinking? What was the most important thing that you did that stopped the binge drinking? And take that advice from your future self. And then she asked, can I get the links for the replays? Yeah, maybe Winfield wants to put his thumb is up. You want to see? It's for real, his thumb. I wouldn't lie about that. Okay, any other questions? Just feel to throw them in there. We are here for you. Now, I want to do another session with you and get you to feel what it's like to really have that identity. I know we did the self-sabotage, which is a parts therapy. And did I take you into the future self, or did we just talk about it? I don't think I did the session for future self. I just talked about it, but I do want you to experience it. So if you are not struggling with alcohol or drugs, you can do this for any other reason. It doesn't have to be because of alcohol or drugs, or you can use that. But we're going to go to meet your future self, get some wisdom from your future self, and then get inside of your future self. So think about what you would want to change is your struggle with wealth and poverty consciousness and fear of failure and unworthiness. Is that your issue? Or is it relationships? Are you afraid to get into another relationship because you've gotten hurt? What is it that you are struggling with? Are you angry all the time? Do things just set you off and you have a really short temper? Do you hate your job? Or do you love it? And Arturo says, what about health? Yeah, so health issues, when you go into your future self, we're going to do this session, it'll be probably about 10 minutes long. When you go into that future self, you'll feel what it's like to be healthy and to really have healed some issue. And then to find out what you did in order to heal that. Hans says, I wonder how to tell your future self from a common thought. Well, I'm not positive that I understand what that means, but maybe you're thinking like if you meet your future self and your future self says something, and when you say common thought, you're thinking, oh, that's just something I made up. You'll feel the difference. You'll notice it when you go into it. Are these principles equally applicable to individuals attending Overeaters Anonymous, Gambling Anonymous, etc.? Yeah. Hans says second guessing that. Okay, so Emily, I have a program for porn addiction and I use the same principles. For instance, the first man I worked with porn addiction, I kind of like made it up as I went because you can do that. So no, I use the same principles I'm using here, but I had him notice in the session, notice his computer, because it was the computer that was, always drawing him in. And when he saw that computer or felt any feelings about that computer, his mind automatically went to the feelings he has about being proud of himself, being free from that, and that it has no effect on him. And of course, we had to work on building all those things into his beliefs. So the computer became a positive trigger, and he did stop. He had been addicted to porn for 30 years. He had tried everything to stop, except for hypnosis. He tried everything, and he just couldn't stop. And so anyway, I did the work with him and he stopped. Boom. So same with porn addiction or gambling addiction. Absolutely. The same principles will apply. You're building, what I showed you in the book, the identity, the beliefs, the getting rid of the self-sabotage, creating new triggers, etc., etc., etc. All right. Who wants to? Oh, Eugenia. Thank you for an awesome presentation. This is a great program. Can it work for drugs? I have several clients who want to stop pot and meth. Wow, great question. Well, Eugenia, you are very fortunate. The book, this used to be called Alcohol Freedom, but now it's called Addiction Freedom. And it does have sessions specifically for alcohol in it. And then in each section, it also has one that's for drugs. And the difference is that I word it differently with regards to it being that drug. So I don't talk about meth or opiates specifically. I just talk about the drug that you've been using. So yeah, you can use it for drug or alcohol. And my success with drugs is very good. It's been really, really good. I'm just amazed because so many drugs are really insanely hard to quit. Can you use it for binge eating? There's different things for the binge eating, but some of the processes in here you would use. You would definitely do parts therapy, and you would do future self, and you would, find the identity and see if you can find an actual cause for the binge eating. And you'd find that in the parts therapy, the positive intention. Yeah, so the book is part of the Alcohol Freedom Program, which it actually includes the drugs and alcohol. But if you want to order that, you order the whole program, which is $50 off today. What? The last day for $50 off. And the code is live50, live50. So you can still get that and all the recordings, which is nice because you can listen to those and get a really good feel for what you can do with your clients. But we can do another live training, or you can do the recorded training. That is $600. Okay, enough about that. I want to talk about you. Let's talk about you and go meet your future self. So think about what the issue is. that you're struggling with. And if it's health or money or insecurity, lack of confidence, procrastination, just isolate the one thing that's holding you back, that's just making life a little too hard. All right, I just appreciate all these people who are here. This is awesome. And you, in the chat, you've got the links for the replays. So if you need that. All right, so go ahead and get comfortable. Take a deep breath. And let your eyes close. Good. Take another deep breath. Good. Let it out and let your shoulders drop. Just notice if there's any tension in your face. Let your jaw relax and let that feeling move down into your shoulders as you feel your shoulders relax. Now just notice the warmth on the top of your head and let that warmth float down inside of your body, inside of your head, down through your neck and your spine, and feel that warmth, soothing and soft, just radiating from your spine, relaxing your back and your chest. Let that feeling move down into your body, into your hips, your legs, all the way down. Yeah, it feels so good to just let go of any tension or stress, tightness. Just let it melt away and let that feeling float down through your legs, all the way down into your feet and your toes. Now, as your arms get heavier, your shoulders relax, your legs get heavier, your mind becomes more open and more aware of something that you do want to change, something that you've tried so hard to do differently and that you've had trouble with. So right now, just go on a journey to float up out of this present moment. Float up lighter and lighter. And just float up above and notice that there might be a path, or perhaps you're just in clear blue sky. Take yourself into the future. How does that feel and where does that happen? Just take yourself into that future. You can float or run on a path or fly. And take yourself all the way into that future that is 1 year in the future. And as you go to 1 year in the future, and you get closer and closer to your future self, you notice a feeling of something shifting, something changing, something feeling different. So let yourself be right there, face to face with your future self, looking in the eyes. And just notice that looking in the eyes of your future self, something has changed in the last year. There is a sparkle and a confidence and such an ease. And you love that feeling of ease. Notice the thing that your future self has overcome or quit or released from his or her life. You can see it in the face. And then ask your future self, what was the most important thing that you did to make this change? What was the most important thing to make this change? And then ask your future self, what did you do differently every day to allow this to happen? What was that one thing that you changed about your daily routine or habits? What did you do daily? Good. And now go behind the body of your future self I want you just to slip into that body, into that mind, into that heart and soul. And as you slip into it, you're seeing through those eyes, you're hearing with those ears. Notice what it feels like to be free from that thing you used to do, that problem that you had, that behavior that you thought you couldn't change. Feel what it's like now to have that freedom, that it's no longer a thing in your life. And notice your confidence level, just that feeling of balance and peace in your life. Notice what else has changed. Have you overcome a health problem, become stronger? Have you lost weight and become a person who loves working out? Are you doing triathlons yet? Notice what changed mentally from inside of that mind. The energy, the creativity, the ability to focus, to feel excited about taking on new projects. Good. Now let your mind absorb what's happening inside of your future self at this moment, 1 year in the future. Just feel it and let it absorb into your awareness, in your conscious awareness and below your conscious awareness. Now your subconscious mind can use all of this information to make those changes below your awareness. Now come back out of the body of your future self and go around to the front. So you're looking again in those eyes and looking at that future self now. Just ask, what is one more thing I need to pay attention to allow this to happen? What is that one more thing that I need to do, that I want to do? Good. Now just float back, all the way back through time, bringing back with you everything you learned and experienced and changed, and the things that you're about to discover from being in the body and mind and soul of your future self. Come all the way back here, back to my voice and back to the place where you're sitting and relaxing. And as you come all the way back now, just take a deep breath in. Good. Let it all the way out. And another deep breath in. All the way out. Good. Bring your awareness back here and back to my voice as I count from 1 to 5. Bring all the energy back to your body and to your mind. 1, bring that energy into your body. And 2, feel that energy coming back all the way from your toes, all the way up to the top of your head. And 3, your body will feel balanced and at peace. And 4, your mind will feel clear and calm and curious. And 5, wide awake, clear-headed and refreshed. And take a nice deep breath. All right. Hopefully all of you are coming back. Come on back. Knock, knock, knock. Hello, hello, hello. I know there's one of them that doesn't seem to be coming back. He's stuck. Okay. Andreas, man. Oh, he put a picture in there, I bet. That wasn't him. Conked out. Phoenix says that was awesome. You were awesome. You still are awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So if you want to share some of these things in the chat about what your future self told you, that would be really cool. You could let us know, like, were you surprised at what they told you? Did your future self tell you something that you did not know consciously? Like, whoa, yeah, huh, how about that? What did it feel like when you got inside of that body? Now, if you're doing this session with a client, if you're a hypnotherapist, or if you're a coach or counselor and you're using this program with your client, whichever way you do it, you want the client to tell you what they experienced and ask them several questions. Like, what did you notice that was like the biggest change when you went inside that body? Or what did you find that was the one thing that your future self told you to do differently every day? My son was just passing behind me and he got down on the floor and crawled. It's okay. That you're going to have to bring out your costumes. Yeah. So ask them questions to get them to verbalize as much as possible. Then hand them the place in the workbook where you have them writing what their future self said and what the future self felt. And then you can turn those into commitments. It's a part of the program that is about your commitments and the things that you're going to do every day. And that's in the very end of the book. By the time you've gone through all those sessions in there, the client is so ready to make those changes, has already made so many of them, that it's not going to be difficult to create the commitments. Melissa says that was really nice. I was surprised. I thought I was going to get a profound message, but I got very simple instructions like, I've been walking every single day. And you know, Melissa, maybe that's even a bigger message than you might think right now, because walking, you know, it's good for you and it's exercise, but maybe there's experiences you have or awakenings or thoughts that you generate when you're walking that keep you enlightened or keep you moving forward. I also got the message to get the book. High five. I like your future self. So Al asked, what is your thought about our brain is a different kind of brain? An alcoholic brain is what they say we have. Right, yeah. I think that's a bunch of bullshit because, sorry if you're offended by the word shit, that you have a different kind of brain. We all have different kinds of brains, and we have wired our brain to have specific thoughts and actions and unconscious responses to so many things. Yes, we all have a different brain, but we know through hypnotherapy and NLP and the brilliant stuff that people are creating these days and discovering that we can change how our brain works. Remember, I talked about a man with phantom pain because his foot had been amputated and his pain was so horrendous that nothing would help. He took opiates and drank a quart of whiskey every night to pass out. For 2 years going to a pain clinic, they would say, sorry, we just can't stop this. Your brain isn't going to change. And I did. I changed it in like 2 sessions and got the brain to quit sending those signals to the foot. We can change our brains and we can have the brain we want. So Al, great question, because that is such a horribly destructive belief to have, that your brain is going to never recover and never going to change. It's an alcoholic brain. So it is now, but it's not going to be, because the amount of things we can do to change what's happening in your brain are just so massive now. And especially with all the sessions, like if you guys came in late and you didn't see where I went through every session in the workbook and the homework and things like that, go and listen to the beginning of this, because you change that many things about your brain's deepest needs and desires and habits and triggers and all those things and beliefs and all that. And things do change. Yeah, Al, I believe that they teach that. We got to revolutionize this, Al, you and me. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Eugenia says, there are some of the things I received. Stop procrastinating was one. Stop being a perfectionist. Take one step at a time and you've got this. Very nice, Eugenia. Could your future self give you some positive things instead of stop procrastinating? Phrase it positively, like feel energized about getting things done. Or stop being a perfectionist. So what would be the positive aspect of that? It would be that I'm feeling good with things the way they are. And you might want to look at doing the parts therapy to find the positive intention behind being a perfectionist. And Dawn, hey, Dawn, she says, what about the genetic component? Some groups are said to have a propensity for alcoholism. Yeah, there are some, but is it conditioning or is it genetics? Is there actually a gene that causes you to drink alcohol? You know, it's hard to say if it's conditioning and your surroundings and you grew up with it. or if it's something that actually was built into your brain. Personally, I don't think there's a genetic predisposition to alcohol or drinking or drugs or anything. It's just that we do things repetitively. I do not come from a family who carries genetics for addiction or alcohol. My dad was a preacher. We went to church all the time. We were very, very good children. Well, there's one of them in the family who wasn't. He was an asshole. But the rest of us are pretty good kids. But growing up, when I was in my late teens, I started doing cocaine. It was the 80s and everybody did it. And I didn't have any genetic predisposition for addiction, but I did it because it was everywhere and everybody liked it and it made us feel really good. I don't recommend it, however. But I look at that as an example of, having no history of growing up in a house where there was booze around. My parents didn't drink. There was one bottle of Mogan David in the cupboard that nobody ever drank, not even the kids. Yeah. And so it's a conditioning thing, and what you surround yourself with and the people you surround yourself with. Phoenix says done is better than perfect. That's very nice for the perfectionism. Yeah. And let's see. So the genetic component. Yeah. I wouldn't probably go head to head with people on that topic of the genetic component, because a lot of people are really convinced, but I would just kind of help them understand that maybe it's not. But gene expression is another thing. Maybe you have the genes for something and they never express themselves. They never get activated, or they do get activated, or it's just, alcohol is just quite pervasive in its ability to have control over some people. So let's see what else you got here. Eugenia says your clients love the results. You are so ready to start doing group programs on Zoom right away. Yeah, I probably should, huh? So the way we do the entire program, if I'm doing it with a group in person, is they do it for 4 days with me, and we do a couple hours before lunch, and then they take a break and they have homework during that lunch time, and then we do another 3 hours, and it's a lot of time for 4 days. When I do it with a private client, they fly in. And again, this is something that is possible that you could also do if you took the training. But they fly in, it's $5,000. They get a hotel room that has this kind of a suite. So there's like a little couch area and stuff. And I come to them and we do private sessions for 4 days. And we do this entire program in 4 days. And you think about seeing clients one time every week, which was what I did when I started. I just saw them once a week, and I'm thinking, oh boy, that's, I'm up against 6 other days that for them to go do the things they did and live their regular life. I want to do this intensive and get all these things just worked through. And it really works well when you do it as an intensive. So online to do it, Eugenia, I think that's a fantastic idea. And I would do it I would want them to spend a couple hours each day with me at least. So that would have to be the big commitment. Claire says, I find my problem started with pre-verbal self-worthlessness. I have been addicted maybe most of my life. Distractions, alcohol, food, computer games, TV spending. Can that be reversed? Yeah, and since it's a lot of things that you're feeling kind of addicted to, look at the one that you feel is most destructive for you or that really interferes with your quality of life. And you're absolutely right. Computer games, oh my God, the amount of time that some of us spend playing Angry Birds or something like that. I don't know who would do that. It's okay. Words with Friends is okay. You can play Words with Friends, no problem. So Eugenia says, these were the messages. My future self said, but if it works for you, Wendy, I'm glad to share. Wait a minute. My future self said, but if it works for you, Wendy, I'm glad to share the positive suggestion. Your future self is very creative and cryptic. I don't totally understand what that means. So yeah, the level of success that people have with this program is phenomenal. Now, people ask me, how do you know what your success rate is? Well, first of all, in AA and 12-step and rehabs that use 12-step methods, They don't track their success rates very well. In order to track the success rates, they would have to follow up afterwards, not with a client, but with a family member or someone who is able to observe the client and tell the truth, because the client is not going to report honestly in some cases. So the follow-ups are very sketchy, and most rehabs don't really care. The one that I told you about in Newport Beach that said his success rate is 5 to 7%. And as I told you, that if you do nothing, if you just try to quit on your own, drugs or alcohol, your success rate is how much? 5 to 7%, which means that is pretty much the same as 0. Anyway, so how do we track the success rate? Here's how I answer that question, how you can answer that question if you're going to work with clients. I have, for 20 years, seen phenomenal success with this program for people who were convinced that nothing would work. They have failed so many times, they are nothing but a failure. They know that they can't stand the thought of going to AA one more time. And yet they start the program and they say, you know, this is ridiculous. It's day 3 and I don't know, I don't feel like drinking. It's okay. Or I don't know, I just quit, you know, it just was time and I know that I'm done. I don't feel like there's anything that would sway me. But we get this level of confidence in them that you don't get with rehab and AA and all that. And that's why at the one rehab, when my son was getting ready to go and the director told these guys that were leaving in a few days, said, remember, in 30 days, only 1 in 12 of you will still be clean and sober. Got that? That's what they're telling them. In 1 month, only 1 in 12 of you will be clean or sober. So this is what they're creating for their expectations. And you go out into the world with those expectations, you just totally screwed. So now we are going to look at the expectations that you create for yourself or for your clients, because your expectations, you know, that's where you've got to start. If some of you are here to quit drinking or quit doing drugs, but drinking specifically, just notice that inner voice. We've got to change that inner voice because it's coming from a place of belief, right? And the inner voice gives you lots of repetition. It says, all the time. It says, I don't think you can do this because you failed before. You tried so many times. I just can't go through this again and fail again. Your expectation needs to be changed by doing the hypnosis sessions, like the future timeline and the future self, and also release the past so you can get rid of those things that convince you that nothing's going to work. But then you change the conversation in your head. What do you want that conversation to be? And, you know, we had some comments in here that are really good. Which one was it? It was about, like the last thing she said was, I've got this, from her future self. And you think those statements, you know, you get those statements in your mind and you hear them and you feel them and you're just knowing that now that's what's true for you. We might have a little niggling self-talk that is just a bad habit, right? It's just habitual negative self-talk. So how do we change that? I have a hypnosis session for that. Oh my gosh, I do. Change your self-talk. What you can do for yourself and for your clients is to help them, first of all, be aware. So in a hypnosis session, if they would close their eyes and they're relaxed, and you say, just notice that somewhere in your brain, there's some self-defeating words and phrases. So now notice where those come from. And when you feel that or notice it coming up, maybe it says, oh, I'm so stupid. Why do I always screw things up? And just notice it. Don't fight it. And don't say, why do I always say these horrible things to myself? Because that would be really bad. Instead, just notice it and say, that's not what I believe. And then change it. right at that moment, you've got to just do it right then. Something comes up that says, I just can't quit drinking. There's no way. Stop and be aware of it and say, that's interesting. I can stop drinking, and it can happen much more easily than I ever expected. Now, what you're doing is, because that message was being fired from a part of your brain or from a memory or from something you believed, when you stop it and change it, in theory, that new phrase goes to that place where you're restoring the negative statement and all of the feelings it triggered. If you do it consistently, you might notice that your self-talk changes automatically. Best way to do it is with doing a self-hypnosis session and getting it to be an automatic response from your subconscious mind. So phrases, do you guys have some self-talk that you do that really is like self-defeating? Go ahead and type it in there and let's see if we can change the phrases to something positive, because this is really important. If you do this whole program and you go out there and you start talking to yourself in ways that are harmful, we're not going to make as much progress as we could. While you're typing that in, remember that today is the last day for $50 off the Alcohol Freedom Program. You get the book online. It's a PDF and you have the whole thing. I would say print it out and have the writing. So you're doing it in the book. Make that book like your lifeline, and it's the creation of what you love. So print it out. It is really important. So $50 off. It is live 50 is the coupon code for that. But Winfield over here, he said, why don't you just give him 25% off of everything today for one day? He didn't say it like that. I said it like that. Robert Culpepper's his self-talk. All right, everybody close your ears. Is fuck it. And Al, it's always been fucked up, always going to be fed up. Okay. I don't mind using the word fuck. I'm sorry if I offended any of you. Okay. The site-wide, the code is today is your day, all one word. Today is your day. Today is your day. It's day 3. We've gone through this. We have 5 minutes left, and then we're going to do a Q&A. We are here to help you with addiction, being a trainer for addiction, helping innovate the system and spreading the word, helping a loved one overcome addiction, or stopping yourself from really bad habits. Maybe it's alcohol or drugs or other things. Today is your day. Remember that. So for one day today, we've got some 25% offness going. What are you guys reading all these? I know Robert did send me a direct message for the fuck it, but I had to share. And Al says it's always been fucked up, always going to be fed up. Mm-hmm. And Melissa, her negative self-talk is, you can't do this. And you know what? When you say it, does it feel like that's so true? Boy, isn't that the truth? When you say these things, do they just like, yep. And then what happens next? What's the next feeling or emotion after that? What is it that triggers? Hans says, I will fail. Phoenix says, I have nothing to offer. Robert says, 2020 is brought to you by the letter WTNF. Thank you for the laugh. I was just going to start crying here. Seriously, I feel so deeply for all of you when you're looking at what your self-talk is. I do it too. And when I do, I just stop, take a breath and say, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. And then put something different in there. And it has been such a life changer for me to just not have the influences of the voices or, I did a lot of work on my past stuff with worthiness and money issues and horrible self-sabotage, as I talked about yesterday. And I've come a long way. I want that for you as well. I don't want people to keep just being in the dark about how to make changes in their life. It's just not that hard, and you can do it without buying my program. But if you did want to buy my program, it's $50 off today. There's a lot of sessions that are not to do with addiction. There are things that are about building the person that you are and building your strength and your integrity and your commitments and releasing the past. It doesn't have to be about addiction in your past. It may be releasing a lot of the things that were really difficult in your past that you're still angry about. Claire says her negative self-talk is, it won't work for me. Dejected. Yeah. Yeah. Phoenix has the same thing. It works for everybody but me. Isn't it interesting that we all, not all, some of us project that into our reality that, yeah, other people can do it, but not me. So we do want to change that. When you notice those words, whatever they are, coming into your awareness, like Phoenix says, you have nothing to offer. You just stop and smile, change your physiology, change your posture and say, I have so much to offer. And just get the physical sensations, get the smile on your face to change the chemicals flooding your body at that moment. Because the negative chemicals of stress that are flooding your body with the negative statement, we've got to change it. So change your physiology, get your shoulders back and smile and say, this will work for me. This will work for me. You just watch. It's going to work. It's going to be like the most brilliant thing I've done. Melissa, that's exactly how I feel. Overwhelmed as I think about a new website, videos, lives, Zoom programs, too many things to do. I hear you. Oh my God, I hear you. We have to take it into chunks. Eugene, you gotta get just smaller chunks of the projects. And then you get yourself a Winfield. See that? He gets someone knows. He's amazing. It's very smart. Yeah, so he says, amen. Wendy's been working me like a dog. I would not. I bring him platefuls of food so he won't have to take time off to make food. No, that's not why I do it. I do it because I love you. Okay, I'm kidding. She's great. See, church bells? That's with all the windows and doors closed. It's right next to my bedroom, and I slept through it. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's go back to changing some of the statements. So Melissa, you're saying that you feel overwhelmed. And then your brain goes to the physical feeling of being overwhelmed and shutting down, right? And then it goes to like, oh, websites, videos, oh. Okay, so we want to stop that right away. As soon as you notice that, don't get mad at yourself and don't beat yourself up. Just say, yeah, feel overwhelmed sometimes. But I'm going to do the piece of it that I really like to do, and I'm going to do that really well. Okay? And then change your physiology and smile and go, yeah, it's okay. I don't have to do them all at once. I'm going to do one of them that I really like. So Robert says, why bother asking? They are going to resist. So go along to get along. Let's see. I'm not sure what that was in referring to. Sorry about that. And Melissa's feels overwhelmed too. She previously said her self-talk confirms it with, this is too much, it's too much. And then, maybe that was, and Arturo, the Mel Robbins 5-second rule works, and for my clients. Now you're gonna have to enlighten us. Arturo, you wanna tell us what that is? And Shona, overwhelm as well. Phoenix, overwhelm is my shutdown. Robert says, the bells are calling the sinners to prayer. Yeah, wow. So we are going to wrap it up. Someone just came in the room right now that probably had the timing wrong, unfortunately, because we're going to wrap it up and we're going to do some Q&A for about 15 minutes. First and foremost is $50 off the alcohol freedom program. Live 50 is the code, and 25% off all day today because of that guy. And it is today's your day is the code for 25% off everything at wendy.com. To give alcohol freedom as a gift to someone you love, anonymously or as a gift with your name on it. Good idea, huh? Just place your order, then send an email that says friend or family member with their info. We need their first name, their last name, and their email. Oh, we don't need the last name probably, huh? Well, that would be more like discreet. Okay, their first name and their email address. And he will handle the rest. So let us know if you want to be anonymous or you want them to know. Give a gift that will seriously save a life. I am just, how many times I have heard this from people that saved my life. I want you all to be doing that too, that are therapists and trainers and practitioners. You learn to do this program and you can go have people tell you that you saved their life. All right. Mel Robbins travels the world talking about it. As soon as you find yourself with negative thought, you count from 5 to 1 and you change to something positive in your mind. Brilliant. Yeah. Very good, Arturo. Arturo, oh, thank you. A little private message. It made me smile. Eugenia says Mel Robbins strategy. Count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Jump up. This helps me stop the distractions and the focus. Very helpful. Okay. So I would like to have you guys ask questions. You can unmute yourself. Can they do that? Okay, you can. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. Do they need to raise their hand thing or? Yeah, if you want to ask a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself and just jump in and we'll see what happens.
Hey, Wendy, I have one.
Okay.
All right. I remember you talking or giving the story about the friend of yours who had the son that was addicted to heroin. You helped him and he quit for, I think my memory serves me right, about 2 or 3 years. And then you had heard later that he had died or maybe from an overdose. And so you were bummed about it. But you had mentioned that when you mentioned that to the mom was like, "Oh no, you don't understand. I had my son back for the first time in years." So am I correct kind of on that story?
Pretty close, yeah.
Okay, so here's my question. I would really, if I'm going to go into this thing and just get pregnant with it with both feet. So I want to what about a thing where we help someone, they're doing well, and then maybe what a smart thing to do would be like a yearly or a check-in, like, hey, let's check in, see how you're doing.
I would probably do it more frequently. I like with my coaching clients that I'm on the phone with them every day for, used to be 14 days, now it's 10. But I still can check in every week. It doesn't take much for me to spend 15 minutes saying, hey, what's up? Or sending a happy email or something like that. Is that what you're thinking?
I something like that. I was thinking, would having them, okay, so they're forgetting about the alcohol. Would the call from me trigger them to think about it again?
No, not at all. No, because you're a positive thing in their brain. Your voice, your words, the work that they did with you, it's absolutely 100% positive. It would trigger them to feel even stronger and more sure of themselves. Yeah, so
Okay.
the young boy that came to see me, he was 18 and he had been a heroin addict. His mom and he flew in for the 4 days and he would not make any eye contact. He had tattoos on his arms of faces of people like the serial killers and stuff, like just the most badass people possible. And couldn't even get him to look me in the eyes. So his mom was really nice and she was really together and everything. And she would leave him there and then go do her thing. And I did work with him. On the first day, things went well. And another interesting thing, like he would just take one hit of pot before each of our hypnosis sessions. And he felt like he really got the experience much more deeply when he did that, which was totally fine with me. And second day, things were a little bit better, but we still weren't making some breakthroughs. Something happened on that second day in one of the sessions that just bust things wide open in a good way. On day 3, he came to the room And he reached his arms out and looked at me in my eyes and gave me a hug. It was like he was in there all this time and something just let him break out, and it was him. And then day 3 and day 4 were amazing. It was just him and his inner child and so much love, and oh, God, it's great. So anyway, 8 months later, he was clean for 8 months. And this happens with heroin because once, if you haven't done it for a long time, you don't know what amount's going to make you overdose. And there's just sometimes this feeling like one more time. But he died 8 months later of an overdose. But his mom said, I had the best 8 months of my life with him, of all of his entire life. Those 8 months were my son loving me loving him, having a true and honest relationship. So I'm leaking. Anyway, yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Al. That is an interesting and important piece of this. Yeah.
Wendy, if you had time today, would you just explain really quick? You agree, or you seem to think that triggers are actually something that are. The book of AA and the people that study the book say triggers are BS. And I just want to have, yes, they say that it's BS. I want to have an argument, or I want to know of correct from a scientific point, because that's their opinion. I just want to know how to answer that. That's all.
Wow, that's amazing that they feel that way. Is it across the board though? Like all AA meetings feel that? Or
Well, the guys that believe in the book. Now there's AA, the book, and then there's AA, the fellowship, meaning the people, right? The people could make up a different rule or an idea. So for instance, the VA hospital, they do the 12-step model, so they will talk about triggers. But the strict AA guys, the guys that read only the book and it's only the book only, they say triggers are BS, and it's because their idea is, I think it's because of when you're done, you're done.
yeah.
And nothing's going to make you use if you're really done, and God has removed it from you, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Because you're powerless. Well, we do know
Let me
that the
say-
brain,
can I add
the
just one
brain is
thing?
triggered. Okay.
Let me add just one thing. What they say is, if something can make you use, why can't something then make you quit? That's their argument.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, and you can, something that's important enough to you in your life is going to be a major factor in motivating you to stop drugs or alcohol. And if your kids are most important to you, or your relationships, or your parents, or whatever it is, that's a factor. But obviously that's not enough because of all the triggers. We do have triggers. Our brain is built that way. If we didn't have the ability to make our brain have triggers, our life would be like emotionally kind of just bland, even though there's a lot of things that are triggered that are negative, but also there's things that are triggered that are positive. So when you start thinking about like, ooh, I want a little something sweet to eat, your brain is now firing off those triggers that go to cravings, making you imagine the flavors of what do I want to eat? There's pumpkin pie in the fridge with whipped cream. Oh my God. All these things are firing up. And it is going to be those triggers that create enough activity in your brain to open up the things that are memories of how good that pumpkin pie tastes and how great it'll feel to eat it, even though you shouldn't. Or smoking, the triggers for quitting, once you quit smoking, the triggers are phenomenal for smelling that cigarette smoke that's like, and it brings back a flood of all these memories if you haven't done something to neutralize them. So we do have triggers, and I'm, like I say, 1935 they created a thing, and they could decide anything they wanted because there was no real brain science back then. They were doing lobotomies by jamming things up people's eyes into their brain. Ugh. But anyway, okay, anyone have a question? Anyone else? Oh, how much do I charge for sessions, for the 10-day phone sessions? Great question, Shona. Here's how I work it. The person, it includes the workbook, the online program, and all those things they have. It's $500 for the 10 days, about 15 to 20 minutes a day. And I require them to call me. It's part of the accountability that they set an alarm and they call me at an exact time. I also help them by asking them the really personal things that they don't want to tell anybody else and they don't want to share with others, because they need a confidential place to do that, for sure, because you've got to get that stuff out, get it out of you, and then we can work on it. So the coaching sessions give me more information about what we can do for certain sessions or sessions they need to solve some problems. Maybe there's a problem that they have from these memories of childhood and they were abused or something. So maybe we need to just kind of take a little side road, and I send them a session that is for releasing or forgiving or letting go of the attachment to those memories. Now, those of you who are hypnotherapists, you could do an additional session for them just to help them through whatever that issue is. So during those 10 days, a lot of things change. And so much of it is just being there for them and keeping them accountable and making sure they're listening to the audio sessions by asking them questions like, so when you met your future self, what was it that she told you in that future self session? Just making sure that they're doing the work. That's a big part of it. Other questions? Oh, Melissa, what do you think about gifting the program to someone who has stopped drinking but still seems so unhappy? Yeah, and they're unhappy because they're probably fighting it really hard. They're just at such a battle internally. And yeah, so using this program for that is awesome because it covers so much more than just quitting drinking. And that is something I'd love for people to know, that it's about way more than quitting drinking. Yeah, so I think that would be great, Melissa. And it has solved like depression and anxiety and all kinds of things for people that they're struggling with. And as a result, that they're doing drugs or alcohol. Yeah, let's see. Oh, how long does it take to receive the coaching kit in the mail? Well, the materials right now are online on the Addiction Freedom training course. And so they're all PDFs. And so you have access to them right away. And there's brochures. So the package, I'll tell you in a minute about sending the package, but the brochures, the slideshow, it's like a PowerPoint presentation that you can voice it in your own voice if you want to use, just the text with each slide, or you can just use it in my voice if you need the presentation stuff to take somebody from, or even a group of people from, not believing that this is a good thing to totally believing this is a fantastic thing. So all of those things are online. So these workbooks, this is the last one I have right now. So I need to get some more printed. So this one's going to take a bit. There is a manual that you get that's also part of the program. It's available online, and it has scripts in it. It has instructions. It has marketing help. There's 70 mastermind audio meetings that are 30 minutes long that are a lot of marketing help to help spread the word and to work with doctors and just all kinds of organizations how to do that. There's like a pre-written letter to a doctor and just so much stuff. But anyway, all that is online. So the manuals, I've got to get them printed. And one of the difficulties is if I have them printed in Hawaii here, then sending them out is going to be difficult. If I get them printed on the mainland, then they have to send all these boxes here, which is incredibly expensive. So I'm going to find something that will work. Haven't done that yet. All right. Phoenix says, do you have any programs for codependency? I don't have anything specific for that, but I'm trying to think of what programs would achieve that. I will have to ponder that a little bit. Maybe, the confidence program has a lot of different aspects of getting yourself to feel more confident in yourself and maybe self-sufficient. Maybe that would start. How long does it generally take? Oh, that one I already read. So the 10 days. Self-loathing to self-love. Yeah, and the thing that I gave you, the gift I gave you on the first day, which was Hypno Harmony? No, Hope, the new Hope that previously cost almost $1 million and now it was free. That one has a lot of stuff for self-love and letting go of all the horrible things you used to think about yourself. Phoenix Rose says it's the best. It is. There's also a program in the course site that's it's either I love me or love myself. I think it's love myself, and it has some self-love sessions that when you do the different sessions consistently, you are going to feel this compassion towards yourself and this love, and just have no need to keep beating yourself up. And yeah, I think everyone should be able to experience that. You know, it's really good. It calms down a lot of the like monsters in our mind and a lot of the negative and self-defeating behaviors. Well, I think we'll wrap it up unless there's any more questions. If anyone needs to talk or unmute yourself and say something, you can do that. So to review, $50 off today, last day for that, of the Alcohol Freedom Program. There's also the version that is Addiction Freedom, which includes the drug sessions. So you could do either one. Give as a gift. Send an email to Wendy Help. Okay, to wendyhelp@gmail.com and spell Wendy with an I. And then we will give it as a gift, either anonymously or with your name. You just buy the Alcohol Freedom Program and then send an email. And what else? What else? What else?
Wendy?
Oh, full 25% off all day today with the code Today Is Your Day. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I'm Eugenia. Hi. Awesome program. Thank you. We've met in another Zoom call some time ago. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask you, I went to your page to purchase and I couldn't see the Live 50 code. In fact, I sent an email to Winfield and he kind of directed me to your website page, but I couldn't see a place about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
To save the 50. So, and also I'm going to be purchasing some other programs. I'm the one who wrote about the future self-talk, told me I need to get on Zoom. I've been very successful the last 7 months. I tripled my practice, but I've been in Sheila Granger's coaching, and that's why I would love for you to do some coaching with us. That's why I say if it works for you, Wendy, you really need to do that, because that's the only thing I have not been doing, group programs. I've been doing individual programs, but I've been selling packages and free consultations. I call them complementary strategy calls.
Oh, nice.
And I've been doing a combination of coaching and hypnosis. I mean, my charges are never less. You're charging very little, $500 for 10 days, it's nothing.
Right. But it's such a short call for me. It's not.
I could not engage people in calls, and perhaps because of my Greek accent, I don't know, but I do engage nearly every one of them, with the exception of maybe 5 people that did not buy my program in the last, I started in June. No, I'm sorry, I started in early May. And I have tripled my revenue and my practice has gone sky high.
Wow.
But I really need to I'm tired. I'm tired of having all these single clients. They love the results. I've been working a lot and learning a lot, but because I used to be a counselor, I have a PhD in psychology, never helped anybody to quit drinking really fully. I have to admit, and so I love your program. So I will definitely purchase some other programs, and I need to get on Zoom. I might want to ask you, and I can do this freely here. I'm working out while I'm listening to you. That's why I'm not showing up. That's right. So I want a session with you privately because I have this fear of perfectionism And even though I have done lives 2 years ago, because I had Bell's palsy in between, I haven't been able to have the courage to get up and do a live and also get on Zoom.
Yeah.
Once I get that, then you can hire me as your assistant coach for free.
That's so great to hear from you and hear all this. I'm so excited for you, what you've been doing consistently to improve your
Thank you. I've been
practice.
writing articles. I've been showing up. I've been on TV and radio, but that is not. I have not been doing that for myself. Like to get on lives, to do my videos that I really need to be doing. So I need to. There's a little piece there that I think in parts therapy could show up that I really need to work on. Anyway, not to be taking up space, but thank you so much. And I love everybody's comments and Melissa's and Phoenix.
It's so nice to do this together and to be able to support each other. And maybe I'll work on doing these on a certain day, like every week we'll do this, so you can continue to get help with it. What was the question? Oh, there's the have a coupon thing. There's a link once you reach the checkout page. It says have a coupon. So you got to get to the checkout page. But if you go ahead and buy it and you can't get the coupon to work, of course, Winfield will take care of you. He will get you your $50. So no problem. Okay. We'll make sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Right. Yes. Wonderful to meet you, Eugenia. And thank you for your participation in the class, and then also everything that you've added to it as well. I've really enjoyed it.
You're very welcome. I'm just thrilled, tickled to death to have met you on your, in person.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And everybody listening, if you are a coach, counselor, hypnotherapist, any of those, what she's saying, to meet clients for the strategic planning session. Wow, that's a powerful phrase. And then they get to see her face to face, and there's so much confidence they can have in her work and hearing her voice and having this one-on-one. And normally we would have that. When I did hypnotherapy in my private office, I would have a consultation and they had a chance to meet me face to face. But now we need to still do that and create the confidence and the expectation in the first introductory meeting, or in her case, a strategic planning session. I think that's what she said.
Yeah, a complementary strategy consultation, because I learned in coaching that nothing is free. I used to call it free. And also one thing I might interest other people to know, something which I was not trained as a hypnotherapist to do, because I was trained by Kine and other people much years ago. I did my first hypnosis session in 1985 and stopped smoking by NGH and trained in NGH. And one thing that and then I left it and I went back to counseling. But one thing that I learned is people want more help than 1 or 2 or 3 sessions, especially now. So when I present programs, the word program, usually it's a minimum of 6 sessions. And up to now, I have sold up to 3 months. Mm-hmm. Nobody blinks an eye.
Right. They want the support. And if you tell them, sure, I can fix that for you. Well, just 1 session, now we're all done, we'll be fine. That's not what they want. They want someone there. And especially
exactly
times that we're in right now, people really need someone who they can have consistency with and get to know, and just get that, hold my hands and help me out.
Yes. And so that has been invaluable, and people have told me that. But in the meantime, during the week, they're connected with me. Coaches do that. They can text me with their wins, their challenges, and what they think they want to work on with me in the next session. And also I text them affirmations. Sometimes I send them an email. If I not hear from them, I say, so how are you doing? What are your wins this week? What are your challenges? So that has been helpful. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm saying this maybe will be helpful to somebody. Nobody had told me that. I discovered it, by listening to other people in the process.
Right, exactly. And you do have to know that your clients, they want more than 1 session, and they want to keep seeing you and having help. Hans wanted to know if he could have the New Hope freebie from the other day. Oh, Winfield already took care of you, Hans. now you're going to feel all warm and fuzzy inside and out. Yay. All
Can
right.
I get that too? Also, I'm sorry, I had missed the other day. I didn't know you had one. I was
know.
working
Okay.
yesterday.
Yeah.
I was working yesterday. I was in clients.
Yeah, it's in the email.
Okay.
Oh, he'll send you an email. He'll send you an email. That's what he'll do.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I see my clients in Europe on Saturdays. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. All right, so Melissa, let's see. Practice. Oh, Melissa says, I'm getting the program and I can work it myself, but I'm curious if anybody wants to practice or trade sessions. Yes, you can add absolutely to the group. Melissa, maybe give them a way to get a hold of you so that you could have a practice group. That is a great idea, like just one-on-one to trade the session so you can get the wording down. And when you listen to my session, then you can get all that wording and then you'll have the scripts as well. There's not scripts for every session because I don't write scripts beforehand. The way that the scripts came to be was Winfield is a really fast typist, and 20 years ago, he would type out my audios while he listened to them. He typed and typed and typed. Anyway, yeah, do that and do a practice group with Melissa. Yep. So I think that's about it. I scrolled up to find some things that I didn't see, and I think I pretty much got you all covered. All right, everybody, I want to tell you again, I am so grateful for you being here and being willing to help spread the word and do what we need to do to help a lot of people. And also for you to be more abundant and have a business that does something phenomenal for people who felt hopeless and felt that they would never succeed at being free from alcohol or drugs and saving some lives. So go out there and consider, doing the training. There's an online training to be a practitioner for this. Maybe I'll do a Zoom one as well. I'll start a live one. But anyway, thank you for being part of this. And I will hopefully see you again very soon. I'll set up lots more live things. I think next week is going to be procrastination. Yay, let's learn to procrastinate. Okay, seriously, we'll do procrastination next week on Zoom. All right, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye, Arturo. Oh, we're stopping the recording.
Are you going to send us